Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes, and welcome back to the YoVideogames podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And once again, thank you to all our generous patrons who've kept us going for 314. 314. I had to do the math in my head. It was
Well, I thought I was going to be the one to forget, and you got close. You almost fucked up.
Well, because I was about to say 313, and I'm like, no, because I almost screwed up on the naming of the episodes when I was uploading them, because I almost did 312 twice.
That would have been fucked up.
I was like, wait a minute, so I double checked. I'm like, oh no, we've already done 312. This is 313. So then today is 314. So
I'll fuck you up a little bit more. We're actually probably at like 315 or 316 because there's like there's one or two special episodes that we had done like a double in a week where we didn't number the other one.
Yeah.
Or one of us wasn't available, and then something like that. So it's all fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because
like counting anymore.
I've actually, it's interesting. I've had some people talk about recently. Hey, I just discovered you, and I've been listening to them, and they went back and listened from the beginning, and they're like, I'm up to the hundreds now. I'm like, okay.
Burning through that shit. Well, I mean, if you're working, if you're working like a job where you don't have to talk to people, one, you've got the perfect job. But
you certainly do.
Two, you could just listen and shit. But where's tonight? We'll do the Dude of the Week. If anybody's interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the Week is Kevin F. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. And I thought Andrew was picking the name because of Kevin from Home Alone, because it's Christmas time as of recording of this. But it's right.
If your name was Kevin McAllister, it'd be 100%. That's the reason. But Dude Sauce on our Discord, in the podcast section of the YoVideogames Discord, had a swap that he demanded I tell you about. The best swap is Yoko Taro for a Xenogears remake, but Platinum should do the combat.
These guys speaking my language.
Yeah, I was saying I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to record your erection. So I guess stand up. We're going to be one of those streams now. Actually, speaking of being one of those streams, I finally used the ball wipes from Manscaped,
nice.
our sponsor. This is them here. Here you go. The Crop Mop.
Crop Mop. So that goes with the Crop Reviver and the Crop Preserver.
Yeah, it's all about the balls. So I had used this. I don't know what active pH control does, but I imagine it keeps your balls from getting acidic. Whoever's down there might appreciate that.
Nobody wants sour balls.
But I finally used it, and then Matt was like, "Oh, does it smell exactly the same as the preserver?" And I was having like a brain fart. So right here on camera, it's not going to be in the episode, but yeah, I did that.
See, that's really disappointing. That should absolutely have been like a special patron tier.
We held eye contact and just experienced it together.
Wipes his balls on camera.
So, and you know what? You might not believe me. You might be sitting there like, "Oh, it's bullshit," or whatever. Yeah, no, it's right there. It's opened up. The old Crop Mop.
So,
it smells great.
for people who may not know when and what is the appropriate use for a Crop Mop. Is this something where you had way too much chili or way too much spicy?
No, it doesn't go up your ass crack. That would
is this okay?
Your
Like you had you had an explosion and it seeped all the way around like a raindrop on on a roof, and it just sort of went around and cusped up. It was basically your whole chode and taint.
No, you know what it's for.
It's starting to climb your peaks.
If you're ever too gassy. And you got a test, and you're like, when I'm nervous, I get gassy. You take one of those, you put it right between the cheeks, and every fart will smell like the forest. It's genius. I think they're doing the wrong thing for their marketing.
Like a coffee filter.
Oh, yes. But no, what I use them for is after the gym, and I use them traveling and stuff. But they have a cool little. Oh, there's your uses. It's for active life and work and travel and dating. I guess you carry one of these like a condom, instead of a condom in your pocket. You just use one of these and hope you're good at pulling out. Because you're not going to carry both, right?
Well,
we don't
see,
encourage that kind of thing. What are you,
okay,
a belt and
okay.
suspenders, man?
Now, I'm sure it's a great product, but my only fear would be, and it's not really to do with this product.
That it won't stop you from getting a girl pregnant? You're right.
No.
Might help you.
Is if you're in the gym locker room and you just get one of those guys who just stand in the middle and put one foot up on the bench that everyone sits on.
And they're always 60.
Yeah, and they're always 60, and he's just going to town, just wiping his balls like open air, like in front of everyone, just like, yeah, whatever.
They're always 60, and they always have like sagging thighs
and fupas.
Yeah, no, that happens a lot too. Yeah, fat upper penis area. But yeah, no, these are the perfect stocking stuffers, and this is the right time of year to show these off. And if you're interested in getting these, you can use our code YoVG, all caps, at manscaped.com. Get free shipping and 20% off your entire order. Check it out.
Yep.
Speaking
of free shipping, I want to bring this up because apparently they opened up. Remember the Analog Pocket?
Yeah.
The first batch went out, and there were a lot of tech channels that got a hold of one.
Yeah, I did not get one.
So they actually opened up orders yesterday for more Analog Pockets, but it's going to be a year.
Oof.
They're not going to ship for another year, right?
Did you go for it?
I almost did, but apparently someone was saying that they're in continental US and they were charging $90 for shipping for the Analog Pocket, and I'm like, on a $200, I'm like already on a $220, $210 product. I'm like, they're charging $90 for shipping. The thing's not that big. The thing's the size of a fucking Game Boy Pocket.
Yeah, how?
So yeah, then so
it's got a nuclear battery. It's got to be fucking stuffed in a specialty.
I don't know. I don't actually don't know if that's true because I didn't actually order it. But free shipping is great because man, that always screws you on Amazon or whatever. Like you're checking out, and it's like, I'm like, where did this $20 come from? Well,
it's not free. I mean, it's not free shipping. Sometimes they include it in the price.
Well, yeah, sometimes they prioritize a quicker shipping method rather than the free shipping method.
Yeah,
and you have to really make sure you're clicking. I don't care. Give me. It can be a week.
Well, this is free shipping worldwide.
Yeah, so I'm saying with Manscaped.com, it's actually really nice with free shipping because you're not going to get to check out and be like, where the fuck did this $30 come from?
I don't know if this is going to be appropriate, but I'm getting all the men in my office crop preserver.
What do you got to say about your office, Andrew?
That's their that's their Christmas present. I'm doing a little office. There's not 20 dudes in the office. It's just 2 or 3. But I'm going to get them crop preserver, and the singular lady, I'm going to get a candle or something similar price to the crop preserver, but it's going to be a very weird day where I'm like, here's cream for your balls. And then also, ma'am, here's a nice candle.
Here's a nice candle.
here's a wonderful candle. There's nothing funny about this.
What do you call?
I hope you enjoy it.
What would you call a douchey product?
Just get someone a douche.
I mean, crop preserver is a good name, is what I'm saying. The name crop preserver. So I'm like, what is it scented romantic abyss candle or douches?
The Canyon Spritz.
Canyon Spritz. Bandersnatch beautification.
Love dressing.
Ooh, Hidden Valley.
I did not like that. No, I'm upset. And Manscaped's going to cancel the sponsorship after that.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about a theoretical, non-existent product.
Yeah, but they're now associated with it.
Hidden Beautiful Valley.
Hidden Beautiful Valley. No one's ever been upset looking at that. So I've had a slight cold this entire week. So if my voice sounds Actually, I don't know if it's a cold. You know when you're just kind of phlegmy? God, yeah, let's get into the sexy talk right away. When you're just a little bit phlegmy and, you got a lot of love dressing coming at you.
Have you... Well, I know it's winter, and I know it all of a sudden, like, it decided within the span of a day to become winter in California.
Yeah, I got to 30 degrees last night. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I just randomly decided, oh, shit, fuck, it's December. Drop the temperature.
Yeah, fuck, that was
like, immediately. I don't want to, like, be crazy. I'm like, do you think it's just a general cold? Because this is how general colds usually happen.
You think I have COVID?
Yeah, did you get the Omicron? Because here's the thing. I was like, did you get the David Cage? And then if people don't know what that means, that's kind of an obscure reference because David Cage, one of his earliest games was Omicron, the Nomad Soul with David Bowie.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Omicron's just a Greek word.
Right.
Greek letter.
Right. And I was also going to tie that in to the Game Awards where his next game was announced.
Oh, yeah. What is his next game?
Star Wars Eclipse.
David Cage is doing that?
That's the Quantum Dream.
Yeah, that's why I recognize Quantic Dreams. God damn it.
Dream.
I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, it's a Star Wars game.
So Schreier and a couple others, but Jason Schreier tweeted out something which was my immediate thought because the Game Awards opens with Jeff Keighley coming out and he makes this big speech about workplace abuse and taking a stand, and he's going to have like a hotline, to text or call, if there's any workplace abuse.
Hello,
right?
Jeff Keighley? You should have come save me. Fucking Taken style kicks in the door. Just
right? So he comes out with this big speech because he was getting all that shit for the Activision thing, right?
Because he really waited a long time.
Right. So he has this kind of like opening speech about that, which is great. And about two or three announcements in, here's David Cage's next game.
Fuck. Nothing beats. I wonder if Elliot Page had anything to say. I wonder if he called the hotline.
Well,
we get if there's any artists listening, let's get a picture of Keighley Ramboing through cubicles and shit.
We're gonna stop this, me and Kojima together.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't had Kojima co-present with him.
I mean, that's a good question. Well, because he's still making games. I think if Kojima was like completely out of the whole game development process, like I imagine he'd be the first person, up there doing stuff like that. Me and Max were kind of convinced when we were watching the Star Wars Eclipse trailer, we thought it was going to be for Night and the Old Republic, the MMO.
Well, that's what that's what I was expecting.
We're like, oh, is this one of those MMO things? Is this going to be like Galaxies 2 or something? Because if you remember, a Blur Studio, big famous CG movie house, they do all these amazing CG trailers for the Old Republic MMO game, and then it's like you see the game and you're like, well, that looks nothing like that. Yeah. So we were watching that going like, okay, here we go. We're gonna have like this incredibly high production CG trailer for Star Wars, and it's gonna be for like a clunky MMO.
Yeah, you're gonna get Kevin Sorbo.
But it's not. It's for David Kage, as we've been calling him, his new game. Which it was to me. It was just the room of us, me, Max, Kenny, and Kayla. It was just a small room of people, but like it was probably the most deflated I've ever seen at the end of a trailer since that elevator movie, The Devil Inside or whatever, with M. Night, that was produced by M. Night Shyamalan. Because I was in a movie theater and they're playing this trailer of this horror movie, and it was like this haunted elevator or some bullshit.
Or the devil's in the elevator with you.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. And then like it literally near the end of the trailer, it says produced by M. Night Shyamalan. The whole fucking theater went, oh! There was this huge audible, like just, oh, fuck. Like and I felt that in that room of only, three other people besides me. Just like, we're watching the Star Wars, Eclipse trailer and Quantic Dream. Oh,
the thing is I knew I recognized it. Like, I'm the last person to recognize studio names and shit for games, and I knew I recognized it, and I was like, I don't remember who that was, and I was like, I'm gonna have to ask, because part of me wanted to be like, isn't that the canceled game or whatever that got, Yeah, no, but not the lady that wrote.
No, you're thinking of Quantum Break or Quantum. There was like an Xbox.
Yeah, there was
game,
something.
Quantum. I think it was whatever the fuck.
And it had Iceman in it, right?
And it had one. It had one of the. It had like Merry or Pippin. I think it was Merry from Lord of the Rings was in it as well.
What?
Yeah, the actor, and then he was also in Vanguard, playing one of the Nazis.
Wow.
Dominic Monaghan or whatever. But anyways,
Moynihan.
Whatever.
Actually, though, speaking of Lord of the Rings, we should talk about Gollum, the Gollum game.
Yeah. Max tried to make this weird big joke, like you wanted this, you live. I don't understand where he was going with that joke, but like I literally the game came on and I was just like, who is this made for? Who asked for a Gollum game? And then like, you did. You like Lord of the Rings? Like,
I mean,
I don't know. I personally was just kind of like, what the fuck is this joke? I'm the biggest Lord of the Rings person in the group, and I'm the first person to sit there and go, who the fuck asked for this?
Okay, I'm gonna say something. I don't know if it's gonna make anybody mad, but do you think this is some woke bullshit, like poking fun at incels?
Gollum?
Yeah, like they're making a Gollum game.
I guess you could, yeah. I mean,
right? I get a little bit. I get a little bit of that. Like, who are they making that for?
I think I read an interview with the developers of it, which is this is book based, not movie based.
Oh, okay. Well, you know.
And they were kind of like, we really wanted to think outside the box. We didn't want to do like an Aragorn hack and slash. Like everyone wants to do Aragorn hack and slash, and we wanted to like really think outside the box.
So we didn't want to make any money.
So we didn't want to make any money. Exactly.
Everybody wants an Aragorn hack and slash. Let's give them Gollum.
Yeah, so like it's this
Gollum
whole
platformer puzzle game.
It's the story of Gollum when he's released from Minas Morgul, and
he's going to hunt down. Yeah,
he's wandering around trying to escape Mordor, and then before it's when Gandalf goes, because remember he says in the movie, they briefly touch upon it in the film because some movies are already 12 hours long, but he's like, I searched everywhere for the creature known as Gollum, but the enemy found him first. I don't know how long they tortured him.
Yeah,
all that shit, right? So this is basically after they've gotten Baggins and Shire out of him, and they basically, I remember in the book they basically just said they just sort of like ignored him after that point. They didn't necessarily kill him, but they also like didn't really.
Wait, they kept their word? If you just tell us, we'll let you go. And then they did?
Yeah, well, apparently it was more just
kind of like... orcs, man.
They just sort of like turn their back, like, and he escapes. Like, he does escape, but like, they just don't care.
See, I want the story of the orc who, like, let that dude go. You know?
Yeah, from what I understand, it was just kind of like, he escaped, but they had also kind of like stopped giving a shit about him. So like even when they're like, oh, whatever. Like,
I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, Gollum. This is the key. Don't use it.
It's so weird too because like we're seeing this and like it's not based on the movies; it's based on the books. But I'm like, so why does he look so much like the movie character? Why is he kind of doing like an Andy Serkis impersonation? Like,
I mean, once you got it, look, they're making an Expanse game. And they clearly got the actor that plays drummer on the show to do that. So it's definitely based on the show rather than the books because that character doesn't exist. Well, it's two different characters in the books. And like that's just once you have an image in your head, man, whatever the big thing is, that's Gollum. That's what Gollum looks like. That's what Gollum acts like.
I guess I could say this. It's less offensive to be playing a game as Gollum sneaking around Mordor than turning Shelob into a sexy mama. Like
Shelob should be a sexy mama.
No.
Yeah.
I guess it's less offensive than that as a Lord of the Rings fan. But it is also, hey, guess what? It's another Lord of the Rings games in Mordor because fuck ever trying to make any other part of Middle Earth. Just Mordor.
You want people to see how good they have it in Rivendell? You stupid bitch! You want people to see Gondor as an egalitarian society now?
Yeah,
no,
the White City, all this shit. Oh my god! Like it's just funny to me. Like we can't get out of Mordor. All like Lord of the Rings is kind of like obviously waned a lot in popularity, which is I'm fine with.
Well, it's easier to color everything brown.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
just
brown
rocks.
and it's hot.
It's rocks and there's volcanic. I mean,
It's Arizona.
Yeah, pretty much, or the drive to Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's less offensive than that. But speaking of Sexy Shelob, Sexy Shelob's other like the developer Monolith Productions, they announced their new game at the Game Awards.
Oh, I missed that. What is it?
It was Wonder Woman.
Oh, that was them?
Yeah, that was Shadow of Mordor, War of Mordor, whatever the second game was called. Yeah, there's the Shadow of Mordor devs.
Okay.
So they move on to Sexy Shelob to Sexy Themyscirians.
Yeah.
So people were really excited about that, even though it was like the briefest of CG.
You just see Wonder Woman. That's it.
Yeah, here's some CG of Wonder Woman's armor, and people were like kind of losing their shit. I'm glad that Wonder Woman's getting like her own game, because if you look at the backstory, the lore, like what Wonder Woman is, where she came from, you could do a lot of really fun stuff with that. Plus, she's got a fucking lasso. That leads to, okay, you could do a lot of really fun stuff in combat. A lot of Scorpion-like stuff and whatever. So there's a lot. I think there's a lot to work with there. I think there's way more to work with there for Wonder Woman than, say, Superman. Superman has all these powers. I'm like, yes, that's the problem. Superman has all these powers. You have to nerf them, or you're just going to have a game that's going to be fun for 30 minutes. So to me, I'm like, yeah, Wonder Woman. Well, and then Wonder Woman, it's debatable. Like, depending on what you do, because sometimes Wonder Woman can fly, sometimes she can't. I'm going to guess they're going to go with the non-flying Wonder Woman.
Probably. I mean, I thought she had to get into an invisible jet to fly.
Well, she does have an invisible jet, but sometimes she can also just fly.
She's the only superhero that flies. Fucking flies around looking like she's in a chair.
Yeah.
What is she doing?
That's what they did in the old like Hanna-Barbera Filmation era of Justice Friends.
And they gave like the little outline of the
and it's supposed to be like, no, like the plane's cloaked, you numbnuts, but because here's Wonder Woman, I'm taking a dump. Yes, it's a Family Guy joke, I know. But.
Yeah. That's actually got to be pretty rough to be flying around, sitting down.
I mean, I'm going to guess we're probably not going to see the invisible jet in the Wonder Woman game. I actually don't know.
Or it'll be that's how you do fast travel. It'll just be like you select it. And
that'd be kind of cool. Like she just lassos up in the air and boom, like she just zips up. I think conceptually a Wonder Woman game like with a big budget, great idea. Shadow of Mordor developers is like they're pretty good. I mean, those games aren't bad. They did say they're going to use the same Nemesis system that the Mordor games used. With the whole enemy generals making alliances or making feuds with them. So they said they're going to use that in Wonder Woman, so that's pretty cool. Which makes me wonder if maybe they're doing like a Themyscira invasion kind of game where it's not going to take place in the real world. It's going to take place on Themyscira, the island specifically, and it's going to be like an invasion of it.
Well, does she become? I don't know enough about Wonder Woman to know, does she become Wonder Woman while she's still on Themyscira? I thought she has to leave Themyscira. And then
well, it kind of depends on, because there's all comics have all these different origins.
Yeah, that's true. They never make sense. They're always.
So, I think the general consensus is that Wonder Woman's the name given to her by us.
Yeah.
The American people.
Yeah, you're not going to scream
I say
Diana.
American because, it's an American comic, and kind of even with Hollywood, they pretty much view the world as America.
What do we call you? My name's Diana.
Diana Themyscira.
Oh, okay, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So I think Wonder Woman's kind of just sort of the name the public gave her.
It'd be amazing if your superhero name was just like Dave. Oh shit, it's Dave.
Yeah, then you sound like a 90s SNL parody skit or something.
Yes.
Super Dave or something. But yeah, I kind of thinking I kind of have the feeling, okay, maybe it's going to be like the Atlanteans are going to invade Themyscira. Sometimes that's been a thing in the comics, where Themyscira goes to war with Atlantis,
and then she fights Aquaman.
Yeah, sometimes she fucks Aquaman, and
hell yeah,
kind of it kind of goes around in circles. So I could see that being an interesting thing, where it's you have Atlanteans and Themyscirians kind of going at it. I don't know if it'll probably be some Morlock or whatever, some fish people, like generic, like, hey, we don't have to feel good, or we don't have to, I'm sorry, we don't have to feel bad about killing good guys or what should be good guys. It'll just be like these gross, fish dudes from the abyss coming to take over Themyscira, and you chop them up. I kind of feel like that's the way they're going to go with it.
And then
if I were to guess,
and then what? Like I don't know. The Atlanteans come to help, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe something like that.
An Aquaman game, by the way, would be pretty sick because you could just do like under the ocean.
Yeah, like, but not like the GameCube Aquaman game.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like a good one, like where you're like Abzu, but with combat, and occasionally, I don't know, you catch a dolphin off guard, huh? Get him with the old 1-2 punch. They think they're gonna hump your leg, and
I mean, I saw the Aquaman movie on a plane on one of my, I think the plane ride home, and from Tokyo.
It suffered from the same thing all the DC movies kind of suffer from.
But it was better. It was still better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was like, because it's James Wan, I think. I think it was the Conjuring guy.
Yeah,
it's one of the Fast and Furious directors. I can't remember. I think it was the guy who did the Conjuring as well. And I was like, this is pretty good, actually. I mean, like, it's not great, but like, it's better than I expected it to be. Let's put it that way.
The action and sort of the camera movement and stuff makes it really fun. Which both things that guy's known for. So
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, it felt like 3 movies crammed into one, but it was still like pretty decent. So, did you see that shit? Fucking James Cameron shot over to some Marvel today, like literally, like I think a couple hours before we recorded.
Oh, where he said like it's not epic, it's not real.
Yeah, his whole thing, with Variety, where he's having a conversation with Denis Villeneuve, Denis Villeneuve, about Dune, and he's just, people are going to shit on him so much. And I think it's like kind of agree with Cameron. Most Marvel movies kind of blur together in my mind, other than a couple like big standout ones. And they're fun movies. They're good. They're good, fun movies. But
they're not pushing any limits, or
they're not pushing any limits. Yeah. When I think of a movie that feels like this movie transported me to another time and place, Dune did that. Like no Marvel movies really done that. Like a couple have gotten pretty close, like Guardians and Black Panther, maybe. But like, Dune to me felt like I was watching fucking and he name dropped David Lean and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, that felt like I was watching like I'm being taken on a journey cinematically.
I think it's not fair because Denny is probably at the very least top 5 directors alive today. Personally, I would put him as probably the best working director right now. There's a couple others that like, especially up and comers, that I'm like, oh shit, you got to pay attention to that guy. But like, Denis Villeneuve's probably the best working director right now, and it's not really fair to compare a Marvel project to a project he's doing. Mm-hmm. One, he's doing Dune isn't standalone, but realistically, he's doing standalone films generally, and Marvel has to fit in with 30 other fucking films, both thematically and stylistically.
I literally had this conversation last night on my stream where I'm like, one of my problems with Marvel right now is that I don't really feel like there's any stakes in anything. I haven't watched any of the streaming series with it, because it's like, a certain actor's not going, this character's not gonna die, or they're not at any danger because their contract is for this X amount of films or X amount of years. So it's like you got that in the back of your head. And then on the other thing too is that they're making a serialization. They are making movies to connect to movies to connect to movies to connect to movies to have this big fucking Avengers level showdown at some point. So it's like they're not going to blow up Earth because they have to make Ant-Man 3.
Yeah.
And they have to make this and that. So it's like, it feels like I don't know. I don't feel tension in Marvel movies.
No, I agree though. I don't think that necessarily makes them not good. Like, it doesn't make them bad.
It doesn't make them bad, but I don't have the tension in a Marvel movie as to like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen next. I don't know if any of these characters are going to make it. when I see Dune, granted, Dune is a book, and you could tell from the book. But like not being familiar with the book and where the story goes, like when shit starts going down in Dune, I have no idea who's going to live or not.
Yeah, I didn't tell. So I had read the book. Awfully written. God, the story's cool. It's just I really do not like the writing style. But I didn't tell any spoilers to Elise, and so when certain characters go the way they go and things happen, like it was really fun seeing her reaction to it, like not realizing. I don't know. It's a 60-year-old book, right? Like, should I care about spoilers? Like Duke Leto, how he goes out, shit like that, where like her reaction to like, oh my god, what?
Yeah,
Oscar Isaac isn't in the next one? No. And I think one thing that they did in the book that is better than the movie is Oscar Isaac's character, Duke Leto, knows longer in the book, is pretty fucking certain he's fucked long before he knows he's fucked. Like, he's pretty certain. So he's just kind of trying to set everything up so that Paul can carry on.
Yeah.
But I do agree that Marvel movies aren't going to have the same kind of stakes because the world always has to be ending in a Marvel movie.
Oh, it has to be ending, but also has to be completely savable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, no damage is irreparable. But the world's always ending. It's one of the reasons why when you get a movie like, say, Winter Soldier, one of the reasons why we probably both loved it is like, yeah, the world was at stake, but it wasn't in the same way. We weren't going to physically lose the world. Yes, a lot of people were going to die, but we were like, that fight was over the heart and soul. It was like a political.
I like the more personal take on it. Like, it felt like a more genuine, and I think that's the advantage of something like Winter Soldier. And people would say like, well, that's the advantage of the streaming series, is that you get these more personalized takes on everything. But like, I'm also just, after 20 odd movies, I'm just kind of burned out.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, I get
not burned,
that.
but just sort of a little burned out with just the general characters, whatever. And I'm like, they're fun rides, and I'm not going to say no to anyone who wants to go watch a movie. Like, am I excited for the new Spider-Man movie? Yeah, I actually am. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the new Doctor Strange film.
Is that why they're calling this like this is going to be the biggest weekend in film or in box office history or some shit? They're saying that.
You know what? Because it's a crossover film, and everyone fucking knows who's going to show up.
Yeah.
Like, without me saying anything, it's like everyone knows what this film is and what it's about now. So everyone is just kind of like waiting just to see it. I get what's going on here.
You saw that joke where with Tobey Maguire, like Gen Zers saying "Not my Spider-Man."
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a joke. It wasn't like a serious thing. It was just like a bullshit, like "Not my Spider-Man," and like millennials being like that Toby is their Spider-Man, but then nobody's claiming Garfield. It's fucked up. Gen X getting the shit end of the stick, being like, I guess that one's ours.
Look, I agree with the general sort of Kevin Smith feeling, which is Toby was a great Peter Parker, Andrew was a great Spider-Man, Tom Holland's a good even mix of both.
Well, I buy him as both.
Yeah, like Toby works great as like the sort of down on his luck nerdy Peter. Nerdy awkward Peter. Andrew Garfield I'll never fucking buy,
because he's just getting ass left and right. For
like,
sure.
You're never gonna buy like mild mannered, nerdy, geeky Peter Parker who spends all his time no. This is Andrew Garfield's a beautiful fucking man. He's
too charming.
Cheerleader.
He's too charming. He's skateboarding and shit. Like, he's pulling hair at lunchtime
everyone.
For sure.
He's fucking everyone in his class. Like, come on.
Oh, fucked up.
like Tom Holland works kind of as both.
My only real problem with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like he's inherited Tony Stark. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
And it's like, that, and they're very clear. Don't get me wrong, Marissa Tomei, beautiful, but they're clearly leaning into the idea of like, Aunt May's hot now instead of like Aunt May being a vulnerable older woman.
Yeah. Well, the only, honest to God, the only nitpicky thing I have is sort of the ending of the last film, which is going to lead right into the beginning of the next film. Which is like Jake Gyllenhaal, makes that fucking doctored video.
Yeah.
Spider-Man killed me, and Alex Jones Jameson. Thank God they got J.K. Simmons back.
Yes.
He's exposing the world for who, and I'm like, every fucking Avenger would have Peter's back in this situation. They can't do that because they can't afford to have another fucking Avengers style, cast.
Yeah.
But it's like in the scenario of the world of the MCU that they built up, it's like, oh, this one guy had this terrible thing. And I'm like, every single fucking Avenger would
there'd be like
in.
infomercials. I'm Thor. Peter Parker's innocent. Captain America.
Well, I mean,
Captain
every
America
single one of them
shit.
would have his back. Like he wouldn't have to worry about like one doctored video, getting put out there. Like
yeah, and I mean Tony Stark would have removed that shit from existence.
Well, he's dead, but like still, like the point is just kind of.
Oh
like,
yeah, he is dead by then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like the point is like all those fucking people who he worked with, who he saved the goddamn universe with, like 10 minutes ago. Like,
yeah,
all of them would have his back. Like to me, it's just like this. It's like this one of these. Okay, shut your brain off. Just sort of go with the flow. Yeah, like Peter's life gets ruined because he gets exposed, and everyone now hates him because everyone thinks he's a murderer. And I'm like, yeah, because the Avengers wouldn't fucking have his back on that. Like,
yeah, fuck that guy. He killed one bad guy, and he saved the world twice.
Yeah, like it's one of those like, come on, like whatever.
Yeah.
Turn your brain off and just enjoy
fun,
product. Yeah. Get excited for next product.
And that's how I live my life.
But anyway, getting back to the Game Awards. A lot of people were kind of genuine. Like even Max at the very end was like, you know what, I gotta admit, like it was kind of like, kind of genuinely a little bit of a.
Really,
it was not the most exciting. It was
they
kind
had
of
Elden Ring shit.
They had Elden Ring, but it was a long story trailer. And when you do a story trailer for a FromSoft game, it literally goes something like, the darkness crept across the land, and the veiled shadow, which then wrought upon the fiery corpses, the singular circle of doom. It's just fucking alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Like it's just fucking word soup with just random, like, vaguely fantasy sounding shit. It gives that one famous guy on YouTube, a whole lot of ammo to work with, for videos. But like, it's like for the general person, like they don't show gameplay. It's just like, big thing standing, grabbing big sword,
guy with spear. Yeah.
It was, that trailer was not exciting.
So then we should talk about the most important thing then. The two most important things, I guess, is the Halo TV show, finally.
That's important?
I'm in, yes. I like Halo.
You know what, I will
like the
say
books
this.
And shit.
I will say this. I played Infinite last Friday with Mike.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with Halo Infinite, the campaign.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
It's actually it's just very fun. And they gave Chief a grapple, a hook shot.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you gotta have it.
I wouldn't say it's open world necessarily, but it's just, you're on a Halo, right? And you kind of move across the Halo at your own pace. It's very good. It's very, very good. I'm very excited for co-op because it's not coming till like May or some shit.
Yeah, so I've been debating if I want to hold off. Like, do I want to play it alone or do I want to wait until co-op?
I definitely want to wait till co-op.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
I played a couple hours of it, and I was really impressed with how fun it was. And I really can't wait to jump in on the co-op. It's gonna be like 4-player co-op.
Yes, so, good. Fire team that shit.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Like, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun because it already is a lot of fun.
If you stream it during the day on a Saturday.
I forget who's the Halo film things changed hands so fucking much. I don't even
Peter
know.
Jackson was going to do it, and then it went to Peter Jackson's golden boy who did District 9.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, and then it got kind of murdered because there was just too many... There were too many people who wanted it to be different things.
Yeah.
And like, I guess Neil Blomkamp wanted it to be like, he really wanted to give what the fans wanted. And I can't remember if it was the studio. Microsoft basically was just like, do whatever the fuck you want, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But Neil Blomkamp didn't want to do it with the Master Chief. He was going to focus on other humans and Spartans and shit and leave the Master Chief out.
Because
something like that.
I can understand that, certainly, because I feel like ODST and Reach kind of really, showed more kind of like emotionally high tension moments. Because like John, Master Chief is just basically like he's a Superman, or he's
a superhero. He's beating the shit out. Like, I feel like ODST was fun because you got to see how tough these enemies are. Like how tough even just a normal ass grunt is. The little nutsacks running around.
Yeah,
like when you're just a regular ass human jogging along, like you're not this like endlessly energetic dude. Like
you're not 7'5" and like this super hyper like Tony Stark armor battle.
Yeah, you can't punch through walls and shit. Like you're riding in a Jeep and that Jeep could take a hit at any time, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I'm sort of down with the show. I don't know what it'll be like.
Kenny had a good point where it's like we've seen so much good cosplay of Master Chief over the years that like
they're gonna have a hard time
seeing it in even with a highly produced whatever streaming service show. It's like it's kind of hard to shake the fact that it has that sort of like cosplay. Like, wow, like look at this cosplay short. Look at this. It just I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just kind of like it's taken I think so fucking long.
It's
to get this going that at this point it's like we've seen what Master Chief looks like in real life many, many times over because of all the cosplay. So now it looks like cosplay in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a thing. Am I excited? No, I've never really given a shit about Halo lore, but I was shocked at how much Mike remembers about Halo lore when we were playing, and I was asking all like these deep, all these like long-standing questions, and he remembers a lot of shit. He didn't really. I think he fell off somewhere around 4, but like,
I read a bunch of the books, and I played all the way up to 4.
Well, from what I understand, Infinite is like a soft reboot of sorts, because apparently everyone hated what they did with 5. That was the gist I got from chat when we were playing the game. I'm like,
5 is the one where they introduced all the like ODST Spartans, right?
I don't know,
like the Spartan 4s,
something like Nick or whatever, something or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, I haven't played that yet, so I don't know. I don't know. Anything
people hated it. I don't know. So this is why this is like a soft reboot. Like we're going back to a Halo. We're on a Halo ring. We're fighting alien dudes. And I was like, wait, why are we still fighting these people? And they're like, oh, they're a rogue faction.
Yeah, they're a cult.
I guess whatever, any excuse, whatever. You know what?
Can't
I will
go
say
back to fighting humans. Spartan kicks a human.
The greatest thing I think in the game was that there's this big tower kind of early on in the open world part, and it takes some doing to get up there. You have to really be good at platforming and swinging around on the hook shot. And I took to it like a fish to water, and I got up there. And do you remember that brute in last year's Halo Infinite reveal before it got delayed?
Yes.
How just blah that guy's face looked.
Yeah.
Well, they've embraced that meme. So you get up to the top of this big tower, and there's a record album, like a vinyl, with that dude's face on it from that screenshot. And his name is like Clyde or something, or I don't remember the name was. It's like the internet had named him like Clyde or Chad or something like that to that effect. And so like, and if you punch the vinyl, it flips over, and on the back is all these song lists, and all the song names are the most popular meme subtitles that went with that image that got shared around, like on Twitter and Instagram.
I can dig that. I like it.
So like they just fully embraced the fact that I'm like, yeah, this looked rough a year ago. But you know what I think is most impressive is like the director and like level designer and art director, all these people like quit after it got delayed, and I was like, oh man, this game might not.
It's fucked, and actually, it's turned out pretty good.
It did turn out pretty good, actually. I mean, granted, the game it's fragmented as fuck, right? Because they released the multiplayer first for free, And then a few weeks later, campaign came out, but not co-op. Co-op's still like half a year away, and then like you got like Forge, which is like 9 months away. So it's like they're releasing the game piecemeal.
Yeah, probably because
it's
all the people that left and shit.
It's clearly not the product release Microsoft probably wishes it was, but it's having an okay effect because, like, hey, the multiplayer comes out, it's free to play, people are enjoying it, people are like it, it's got good buzz. The campaign comes out really quickly after. It's single player only for the moment, but you know what? It's got good buzz, it's got good word of mouth. Granted, it's not everything we wished, it was at launch. It doesn't have all the modes and options, but the game, at least for its part, is coming out with good word of mouth after all these delays and whatever. So it's a nice Cinderella story for a $1 billion franchise.
Cinderella, much richer than I remember her supposed to be. But
you always wonder if, like, was this too big to fail for Microsoft? Did they have to? Was it just like, we don't care how long it takes, how much money
franchise?
So
like
good
Xbox,
on them.
You can't separate Xbox from Halo. I don't think there will ever be a time where there isn't a Halo on an Xbox.
Well, I mean, it's not been well received for a while. Like, Master Chief Collection launched, a ton of problems. Halo 5 was very lukewarmly received. 4 was a bit divisive too. Like, it's been a long time since like a Halo game came out and people were just universally amped about it. So this is probably a very long needed win for Halo. I'm not saying the franchise was ever in danger of going away. It's too profitable for that. But
look, it survived Halo Wars.
Yeah, there was a Halo Wars 2. Nobody knew.
Yeah, Halo Wars 2. Nobody knew. That's actually just the name of the game, really. Okay, so last final thoughts. Well, anything from the Game Awards that was like you are the most excited about? I thought maybe you'd get.
I can't even remember anything that I was amped about. Which
I thought you would have liked the look of like Tunic or something. That's a Zelda.
We've already seen it. That was just kind of like an update.
Okay, I hadn't seen it yet.
And it's fine. Yeah, the Moana of the Wild.
Moana of the Wild.
Yeah, like that's the one we're talking about, right? With
no, wait. Tunic is the one that looks like it's like a Zelda. It looks like a Zelda clone, like a techno Zelda. I guess if I was.
Let me double check because I'm probably getting my games mixed up here.
I don't know which one.
You're talking about the Fox game?
Yeah, maybe.
Was that? I don't think that was at Game Awards.
I'm pretty certain it was because I only watched like one.
I don't remember.
Oh, maybe I'm misremembering.
I know. Yeah, Tunic's like the little fox isometric Zelda.
Yeah,
I don't think that was there. Was it?
I'm pretty certain it was.
I don't think it was, dude. Did you watch this year's Game Awards?
I'm pretty certain it was. Now I'm just going to Google, was Tunic at... I typed... yeah, it got its release date.
Oh, okay. It did, I guess.
The first thing, Game Awards rigged? Question mark.
Oh, this was from the pre-show. Okay. I missed the very beginning of the Game Awards. I came in right as they were ending the King of Fighters trailer.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask about that.
This was because this was in the pre-show, the lead up.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot they did that.
Which is always annoying. I don't know why the pre-show has reveals. Why isn't the pre-show just the start of the show? Stupid. I guess it was there and I missed it because I missed the first 10 minutes, I think, of the pre-show.
Finally, my time to shine. That's the only one I saw. That Hellblade 2 was in.
Hellblade 2 looked nice. Hellblade 2 looked really
so
nice.
Horny for that game.
Look, it's not like I think there were nothing good shown. Nothing got okay. Like let's dive into what are the exciting. Hellblade 2 had a big long showcase. Looked great. Mm-hmm. Alan Wake 2 got announced as a survival horror genre shift. Pretty cool.
I forgot about that. Yeah, no, I'm pretty down with that.
GTFO looked really cool. A survival horror co-op game, but it's
Didn't
already
see
been
that.
out. It's already in early access. It exists already.
Oh.
But it's cool that it got like an update. And then there was some other things that were kind of the Matrix Unreal 5 tech demo got released, and we did play around with that right after the Game Awards, and it looks really good. Yes, I'm like, Unreal 5 looks dope. I'm actually I'm happy to see that they basically fixed the problem Unreal 4 had, which was it streaming content. When I mean streaming, I mean like streaming data for open world is actually rough on Unreal 4. So Unreal 5 basically is directly addressing that issue and making big fancy open worlds great.
Open world is the future. Everything's
Well,
going to be
I mean,
open world?
it's like you want it. Like, and there was a nice little like tiny tease for Horizon 2. That was really nice.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was, I
Dinos
forget
and
the
shit.
name of it. There was this metal game, like a metal first-person shooter that was very just super arcadey, like very Doom 2016 style. That looked fun, although I didn't know it had already been announced. Like, our good old bitch Scully, who always makes his own bingo cards. Like, he was like, he almost got a bingo, and I was like, well, doesn't like a boomer shooter revival count as? He's like, well, it's not a reveal because it's already been revealed.
No.
So that game looked fun, and I don't even fucking remember the name of it.
The biggest takeaway for me is that I still have to play Kenna.
Kenna's fine. Kenna's got some
Yet.
dumb design decisions, but it's a rookie studio, so I get it. But overall, it's a very solid first effort, I think. Overall, I'd say it's more positive than negative.
So your main takeaway was fuck the Oscars then? You didn't have any big takeaways from...
My only, like, if you want to talk about the actual awards themselves, the only thing I feel really should be brought up is it didn't win. Thank God. It didn't win. But the fucking fact that Cyberpunk was nominated for RPG of the Year, to me, is a fucking sham. Like, it just shows...
with what?
Like, the one that won was Tales of Arise. It was like Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus, some other shit. Like they didn't even nominate Nier Replicant for RPG of the Year, but Cyberpunk did. Like,
how
and to
much
me,
did
like,
they pay?
Right? Because I'm like, Bravely Default 2, Neo: The World Ends With You, like any fucking functioning RPG that came out in the last year, I feel should have been nominated besides Cyberpunk. If you're just comparing it alone to Cyberpunk, like that game was a fuck. Like,
it was a mess.
Like,
I don't know if it's fixed now though.
I mean, whatever. It's not even the point. The point is like, this is the product they released on day one, and it was a fucking disaster, and no way should it have even been nominated. That's my big takeaway, because that and once again, I will say, wouldn't it have been nice, since he has his own Game Awards orchestra, wouldn't it have been nice for Soundtrack of the Year to play like a bit from each one of the soundtracks nominated? They do that for Game of the Year, but they don't do it for Soundtrack of the Year. Soundtrack of the Year is just done off to the side with Keeley standing on like his little side stage going like, here's the nominees, and the winner is this. Here's the nominees for this, and the winner is that. He just rattles off. It's bullshit. Like it's weird how like action adventure and adventure, they get a presenter, a guy who comes on stage and reads it off and then reads the awards, and then like other genres like RPGs and fighting games, no one gets to come up. No one gets
busy fighting against workplace abuse.
I get it. I get it. It's already a 3-hour show, but I don't know. Like those are little irksome things for me. I think the funniest thing of the Game Awards, personally, like I was not. Some people were kind of disappointed there was no Capcom. I know they had like a new teaser trailer for Monster Hunter Rise expansion. Whatever, no one cares.
A lot of people care. Just unfortunately not me.
But people care. But it's like okay, another teaser for an already announced expansion to an already existing game is not that exciting. Yeah. But I was not expecting anything from Capcom there. So it's a little bummer we still didn't see the Resident Evil 8 DLC they promised they were started on. Oh well. But to me, the funniest thing was basically Nintendo didn't show up.
Yeah, they didn't care at all.
At all. At all. They didn't give one shit. They had an indie sizzle reel of indie games, which they had an Indie World today. Sea of Stars looked great. There you go. And the story.
That was it. That's all there was.
I mean, okay. The one theme of the Indie World game today was like, this is a heart-wrenching story. Like they had all these like these super indie artsy games that have like really heart-wrenching stories. That's what they're advertising, which works for me. But part of me is also like, who wants to play a game where you play as a mother fox trying to keep her 3, puppies alive and they may not make it, like the Oregon Trail, like the Fox game, whatever. That literally was a game.
Today I just want to be. They showed
sad. An Indie World. Today I just want to be sad, which I'm all for. But I'm like, who's like? I feel like they're sabotaging some of these indie games, but whatever.
I feel like we have a few things that could go on a shirt if we were ever to do shirts. And today I just want to feel sad, and I can't keep up with everything that sucks. The two.
Yeah. I just want to feel sad. I have a big fucking Yoko Taro.
Today I just want to feel sad.
But like they had an indie game sizzle reel, and then they literally spent money for here's a sizzle reel trailer of games that came out in 2021, the Switch 2021 releases, and then they had here's the sizzle reel for Switch games in 2022. Which was not new footage. It was just, hey, here's footage of Splatoon 3 and Bayo 3, Breath of the Wild, like all the same shit from
we already
E3.
told you about.
Everything, nothing was announced, nothing was new, none of the footage was new. Just see you in 2022, guys. Here's some cool 2022 games, and that's it. They didn't have any announcements. They didn't have any updates. They didn't have shit. Like Nintendo did not show up this year at all.
They just did not care.
He just did not care. Doug was getting his bald head waxed or something. Like,
how dare you? My boy Doug has beautiful brown hair.
Not your Doug.
There's
Doug
only
Bowser.
one Doug. It's my Doug.
I mean, it's not like Doug has any control over what NCL okays or not. So it's like I'm not angry at NOA for not showing up because that's literally not their call. That's NCL's call. So they have to listen to their Japanese overlords. So it's like I'm not angry at him or anyone at NOA, but it's just kind of like they've had precedent. They've had a history of like having something to talk about at the Game Awards for a while now. Kind of shitty that with such a stacked 2022, they didn't have one new trailer for anything. Just, by the way, here's shit we've already announced, and here's the same footage we've already shown. Whoa, see you later.
They just don't care about spending money on marketing materials anymore.
They don't need to. That's the frustrating part. Is they don't
just
need
make
to.
money.
They sold over 1 million Switches in November, as it just came out. Just USA alone. USA sold 1.13 million Switches last month, which is actually down from November of last year. But I'm like, yeah, but we're still in the throes of COVID without any hope of a vaccine yet. A year ago. Yeah, and supply chain shit. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, but they're still dominating. Like the Switch sold more consoles, I think, in November than the other Sony and Microsoft consoles combined, or something crazy like that. So Nintendo doesn't need to advertise. They don't have to do shit. People can complain all they want about how low tech the system is and how games are running poorly on it. It doesn't fucking matter. We're all still buying it.
And as long as you're having a good time, I don't give a fuck about the specs if it's fun. It's the same way, like, I don't need the absolute best graphics ever. I want the game to be fun. David Cage.
Yeah. Wait, you're right. You're 100% right. But I will say, snobbily, this week I've been trying to get Cemu up and running, and I needed Life Virus to help me out with that. But too long story there. Anyways, got it up and running. But for a while, I just resorted to playing the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild on stream.
It upset
you? It does upset me. It fucking sucks going from a smooth 60 to like sometimes 30 with like really low resolution, no depth of field, no clarity, like just fuck.
So what is Cemu? That's
the emulator.
Oh, okay.
It's the Wii U emulator.
But it does like way higher quality.
Oh yeah, they've gotten a ton of donation support. So like you can run the game at 120 frames at 4K on Cemu. Well, you can.
Yes, I can.
With your rig, because I think you I think you have a 3090. My rig can actually do it too. I just need to get a new CPU.
Let's do it. Ryzen 9 with a fucking 3090. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. So the game looks gorgeous, on Cemu, but yeah, when you drop back down to like the Switch or Wii U, like native hardware, it's like
going back to dial-up porn, huh?
It really is. And I'm just like, I'm not even. It makes me less excited for the sequel because I'm just like, here we go. It's gonna go back. We're gonna go back to a. I mean, there are really good Switch emulators already. There's 2. So and you can bet your ass they're gearing up real heavy for the release of Breath of the Wild 2 next year on Yuzu and the other
the good
one.
news is if E3 happens in person, there might be shit that we'll get to see. You might get swag for Breath of the Wild 2. Then let's end on a high note. Let's bring everybody back to a memory. Some of you might not have been alive of the first time you're downloading sweet, sweet dial-up porn, and you had to ask yourself the most important question ever. Is that a nipple or an asshole? Or an elbow? As always, we've got...
See, I remember this, and I remember specifically, you know how I remember? Because it was Dreamcast. Web browser, baby.
At least you knew you weren't going to get any weird viruses.
I had
no idea.
I used Dreamcast web browser on my dial-up internet, and I remember downloading my first naughty images, in my own secret dark room. Like,
is it a mouth going ooh, or is it a gaping butthole? Now, for the real OGs that were on dial-up porn, you started jerking off before it was totally done loading, and it's all of a sudden that butthole finishes.
You're like, oh, fucking 30% good enough.
That scan finishes and it finally downloads, and that's a dude's ass.
You're like,
now, maybe that was a sexual awakening for some of us. But
yeah, some people be disgusted. Some people be like,
but for others, a massive disappointment or the most awkward orgasm you've ever had.
And some people are just like, oh, well.
On that note,
that's cool.
We got some patrons to thank. If you're interested in becoming a patron at any level, please check out patreon.com/YoVideogames podcast. Dude of the week was Kevin F. Thank you, Kevin. And our producers for this episode are The Arnett, Scrunami, Top 35, Hyperviper 89, Hockey Kong 64, Ziggy Z, Online Persona, and Miles XVS. Thank you, dudes, and we will catch you next time.